Hello, everyone. So, regardless of your view on this, I think we can all agree that it probably shouldn't have happened. And if this was voted again, the Dáil voted in favour of it, majority did. It should be put to the people, and this is to do with the 3 day waiting period for abortions. Now, I've always been of the opinion, particularly all my life, that I always was pro life. I always was, pro baby because regardless, it's still a human being. And I've always believed that very strongly. It's a very strong belief of mine since I was very young, and I still will not go back in it. And the 3 day wait period is a chance for women to think about what they're about to do, and particularly with their families, their partner, etc., to think about, is this the right course of action? Should we do this? And 10,000 or so women over the last few years since abortion was brought into this country have chose not to go ahead with it after them 3 days to basically to take the Dover, and they said no. And again, there's 10,000 more lives saved, and now people would say maybe it is only 10,000, but still at the end of the day, it's a human life that's saved, and I do believe in that. I believe very, very strongly. And I do believe in women too, and I don't want to be seen to be telling women what to do, etc., because again, they're their own people, etc., but there's a very strong religious view I have on it, really, really strong, as I say. And men should support women, of course, support women as much as they can, but I do take abortions and stuff, and I've said this before when the abortion referendum, that it is not right, to be totally honest. It is not right, and I know it's a lot of reasons behind it. There's many different avenues we can talk about abortion. We talked about it many times before, particularly if it's an instance of rape, etc., etc. But to be totally honest, the perpetrators who do this should be probably facing very harsh punishments. What I mean by that is, if you do violate a woman in that way, you will get the death penalty. That's what should be brought into this country. That would stop overnight, basically, if anything like that ever happened, because the person who done this would never cause any harm again to anybody. I know that sounds extreme, but that's what should be done. And it's the same with economics. A lot of situations, there was a poll done actually a few years ago, and a lot of women who are terminating their pregnancies, etc., is because of economic reasons. And I get it, I've met women myself that have thought about terminating their pregnancies because of the economic situation. I even know one woman, and I say this straight, that she did think about it. She thought about it for a long time, about terminating because she thought about a financial situation. But I'm glad that many people encouraged her to keep the child. Go ahead with the child or family. Me, many other people too, said to go. Keep the child. You will never regret it. And I'm happy to report this woman today. Even though she's not the world's richest woman, but I think she's rich in happiness because she loves that child up in Fios. And she loves it, and she loves it even though she doesn't have much wealth, economic wealth. There's something about a child. It's so magical. It really, really is so magical. Another human being brought into the world, and it's something so magical. And I think anybody that's a mother out there would particularly say that, because many mothers over the years have said how proud they are of their children, even though they're not rich financially. It's more than money can buy. The love of a child, and the gift of a child, I would say too. It's more than anything. No money in the world can buy it. You could own the whole world, and you still wouldn't have the love and the care and attention that you have. And I think even the woman behind me is a great example of that too. That she has a great child, and she says every time she has anything upsets or annoys her, the first thing the when that all goes away is basically when she looks at her daughter, and I think that basically tells everything that every mother feels. But as I say, I don't want to be seen to be telling women what to do. But I do think it's important because it is only 3 days, and I do think it's important because sometimes people do rush into decisions. So even as a man too, we all rush into decisions on different things. Not as serious as this, of course, but if it's even just minor things, we rush into it without thinking. Of course, it's especially when you're in these stressful situations. There's other situations we could talk about because there's many different situations. It's not just one situation. There's many different situations, but I don't agree with it, to be totally honest. And again, I've always been pro-life all my life, and I don't think that's ever going to change, to be totally honest, because I feel very, very strongly about it. More than nearly anything. But I do feel very strongly about this, and again, I don't want to be seen to be telling women what to do, because at the end of the day, it's not right for a man to be telling a woman. It's not right for a woman to tell a man. It's not right for anybody to tell anybody what to do. Basically, what I'm trying to say. And I don't think it's fair to say that too. Um, but I am concerned about this, and I am concerned that it is, because again, it is only 3 days, and it's a time, as I say, for families, for the woman in particular, to think about what they're about to do, etc. Because I've seen things even on the internet and stuff. I've come across that maybe once or twice, just in passing, of women that did terminate their child, etc., and being grief stricken in a lot of cases for years afterward, regrets, etc. And I suppose it's a very, very hard topic, and I don't want to sit here and be kind of demanding or looking down on people that do it or anything like that, because a lot of these women are in very bad situations in a lot of cases, as I say, economically, and some have been victims of crime, of that kind of business. But society in general needs to help these women too, particularly that want to have their children. In a lot of cases, a lot of women do want to have their children, but the society doesn't help them. What I mean by that, if you look at that pension system, when they get older, they're demonized for having children, taking time off work, etc. And even just financially too, the state should probably help as much as humanly possible to help these families, bring a child into the world, give them housing. Because again, even looking at the other day, for young people particularly, the main issue and the main problem in everything with a young person's life in Ireland, in modern Ireland, is housing. Because you can't have a children, you can't have a family, unless you have somewhere to go, somewhere sustainable, somewhere that you can go and you know that you won't be kicked out at the end of the week. And that's how it all starts, by having the foundations in life set up. But as I say, I don't agree. I do think we should have went to the people with this, because I do think, and even during the abortion referendum, it was said that it would be very rare occurrence. It wouldn't happen all the time. We had huge amount of abortions over the last few years too. And as I say, it's a very strong belief of mine, and I know people have different beliefs, and I'm perfectly entitled to that. I don't think I'm sitting here and telling you must think this way. Everybody takes a different way, I suppose, on this topic, and that's fair enough. But particularly, I suppose, my background, etc., and I suppose my being a Catholic too, you have more beliefs than probably many other people. But I don't want to sit here and demonize people. Of course, that's not my objective here. But I do think we should have a debate in society about this, and I do think it just being rammed through the door by Sinn Féin, by Fianna Fáil, Fianna Gael, doesn't help anybody. It really, really doesn't. I do think it should be a wider society debate about this. And I know it's only 3 days, and no people would say that's outrageous to have a big debate in society about only 3 days. But as it shows here, many children have been saved because of them 3 days. Many children have. And without them 3 days, them 10,000 children wouldn't be alive. Wouldn't be alive, and I wouldn't be growing up at primary school, maybe going on even to secondary school as we speak. And I know people would say, ifs and buts, but at the end of the day, I do think it's important. It's something I do feel very strongly about. I really, really do very strongly about it. But I do want to let me know what you think, because at the end of the day, it is people's opinion. But I do think society should have this debate more than the TDs and the senators. That it's up to the people in society. Because the majority of people, even just looking online, etc., a lot of people do think it was necessary to keep it, because it's an opportunity to reflect on your decision and what you're about to do. As I say, it'd be different if it was 7 months we were talking about, or 7 years or something like that. We're only talking about 3 days. But I do let me know what you think. And as I say, if you have a different view from me, that's totally fine. But I do think 3 days is not a big ask. I really, really do take that. And I know there's other things in the country going on, etc. I know this is, for a lot of people, it's only a minor thing, basically 3 days, etc. But it's the principle, and it's, I suppose, the amount of lives that could be saved, the amount of children's lives that could be saved. And I do feel this one, and again, I can't emphasize this. I don't want to be in the position that I'm telling women what to do. That's never was my intention. We have no right to tell somebody what to do, etc. But it's a deeply religious standpoint that it is, that it isn't right to terminate a child's life, and that's absolutely necessary, really necessary, life-threatening situation. I mean that, and again, it's as I say, it's a deeply held belief of mine, and I do, and as I say, we should have a debate in society about this. I know the abortion referendum passed back then, but I don't know, because at the end of the day it did pass, but I do think if we would have asked about this particularly, I don't know what people would agree with it. I generally don't know. But anyway, do let me know what you think, because again, this is how we have a debate in society, have an open debate. And I think a fair debate, I think that's the thing. And because we have to recognize that these women too that are in the situation now, and some of them are in very desperate situations, and we have to understand that it's not just it's everything's rosy and dandy, etc. It's not. A lot of these women are in very difficult situations. Some of them maybe have drug addictions, alcohol addictions, other addictions. As I say, could be victims of crime, other things, financial situations. We could go on. There's other cases we could talk about and other things we could talk about, but I'm sure people get my drift. But this is just my view, as I say. But as I say, we should have a debate in society, because I think it would be fair that if everybody was involved in this debate in society, that it would be put to the people and the people would decide. And I think that would be the most fairest thing, in my view. But do let me know what you think. As I say, it's a very sensitive topic, so do be sensitive, of course, in the comments. And be understandable to people, even though you might not like them or might not like their view, etc. But at the end of the day, that's democracy. People are entitled to their view. Regardless if I agree with them, regardless of who agrees with them, they're still entitled to their view. So please do be a bit respectful, because it is a very sensitive issue. We're not talking about a pothole in the road, etc. This is a sensitive topic. And I'm trying to treat it as a sensitive topic too, and we're trying to have a civil debate about it. So please do. So yeah, thank you everyone. I appreciate you as always, and of course, do let me know. Thank you.